First and foremost, I would like to thank Department of Physics, Namchi Government College and Sikkim University to provide this platform to make this topic full wave bridge rectifier provided by Dr. C.P. Khatiora for the partial fulfillment of BSc third semester June to December 2020. This video carries 25 marks or sessional B examination. Hello everyone, I am Vandita Sharma from 3rd semester, roll number 19NS0062, Namchi Government College. Topic: Full Wave Bridge Rectifier. So what is a bridge rectifier? A bridge rectifier is a type of full wave rectifier which uses 4 or more diodes in a bridge circuit configuration to efficiently convert the alternating current AC into direct current DC. There are two types of full wave rectifier. First one is full wave bridge rectifier and full wave center tap rectifier. So first we will study about full wave bridge rectifier and then move on to full wave center tap rectifier. So let's study first about full wave bridge rectifier. A full wave rectifier is a circuit arrangement which makes use of both half cycles of input alternating current and converts them to direct current. And we know that in a full wave bridge rectifier, 4 diodes are connected in a bridge manner to a load resistance, and in the same time 2 diodes are in forward bias and 2 diodes are in reverse bias. And we know that a half wave rectifier makes use of only half cycle of input alternating current. Thus full wave rectifier is much more efficient than half wave rectifier because full wave rectifier makes use of both negative and positive half cycles of the alternating current. This is the circuit for full wave bridge rectifier. You can see we have 4 diodes in circuit. Let's say these diodes are D1, D2, D3 and D4 respectively. The resistance here is resistance R, load resistance, and we have to calculate the output voltage VO across this resistance, and input voltage across this terminal given is VI. For positive half cycle, we are analyzing the circuit. Let Vi be the input voltage and Vm be the maximum or peak voltage. Diode D1 will be forward biased, diode D2 will be reverse biased. Similarly, diode D3 will be forward biased and diode D4 will be reverse biased. As you can see in the video, we have only shown diode D1 and D3 because they both are in forward bias, and diode D2 and D4 are being replaced by dotted lines because they are in reverse bias. Now here we are considering the diodes as ideal. So when the diodes are ideal, the forward bias diodes are usually replaced by closed circuit and reverse bias diode are usually replaced by open circuit. But here in this video, for convenience, we will just replace reverse bias circuit by dotted diagrams. So let's try to find out the output voltage VO. In place of diode D2 we have open circuit, so the current will choose path with minimum resistance. So it will flow from diode D1 and pass through the load resistance to diode D3 and then to the negative terminal of the AC source. This will be the direction of current. Let's say the current is I, and we can easily calculate VO by using Kirchhoff's voltage law. Plus of Vi minus Vo equals to 0. So Vi is equals to Vo. If we consider constant voltage drop model, then the diode D1 will be replaced by barrier potential equal to Vb. In the same way, diode D3 will be replaced by Vb, and the output voltage will be Vo equals to Vi minus twice of Vb. This is when we have a constant voltage drop. And if we consider piecewise resistance along with VB, we have diode resistance RD. So the output voltage VO is equals to VI minus twice of VB minus twice of IRD. Now we will analyze it for the negative half cycle. When we are talking about negative half cycle, the polarity will change. Diode D2 and D4 will be forward bias, and diode D3 and D1 will be reverse bias. And when we know for ideal model, we are going to replace reverse bias diode D1 and D3 with dotted diagram. Now we will try to trace the path of current I. So current will flow from diode D4 towards load resistance, and then from load resistance to diode D2, and then to the negative terminal of the circuit from diode D2. This is the path of current, as current will choose minimum path of resistance while D1 and D3 are in reverse bias, so the current will choose path from D4 to load resistance, and then to D2, and then to the negative terminal of the circuit. We will again try to find out output voltage VO by using Kirchhoff's voltage law, that is plus of VI minus VO equals to 0, so VO equals to VI. I will try to plot the output waveform for all the three models. In case of VO equals to VI, the output voltage will be equal to the input voltage. The peak value of the voltage will be equal to VI, that is the input voltage. So the curve will be as that of input voltage. In case of constant voltage drop model, VO will be equal to VI minus twice of VB, where VB is the barrier potential. So the output voltage will be smaller than the input voltage here. So the second waveform will be smaller than the first waveform. And if we consider the piecewise linear model, then the output waveform or voltage will be the smallest. Now I will plot the output waveform from pi to 2 pi. For the positive half cycle, the output voltage is equal to the input voltage, and in negative half cycle we have the similar plot, and we have better waveform than that from the half wave rectifier. So we are getting identical wave as that of positive cycle. So now let's study about full wave center tapped rectifier. Full wave center tapped rectifier. The first thing we need to understand is the name. Why we call it full wave center tapped rectifier? Because on the secondary side of the transformer there is a tapping, and the tapping is on center, so that's the reason why it is called full wave center tapped rectifier. In a full wave center tapped rectifier, there are two diodes D1 and D2 respectively, and a resistance R. We have to measure the output voltage VO. The transformer has primary and secondary side in the turn ratio 1:2. We already know that Np by Ns equals to Vp by Vs, where Np is the number of turns on primary side and Ns is the number of turns on secondary side. Vp is the voltage on primary side and Vs is the voltage in secondary side. We have Np by Ns equals to 1:2, and let's say Vp equals to Vi. So we need to calculate Vs by the formula Np by Ns equals to Vp by Vs. Therefore, Np by Ns equals to 1 by 2 and Vp equals to Vi. So Vs equals to twice of Vi. For positive half cycle, the maximum or peak voltage is equal to Vm. Diode D1 will be forward biased, diode D2 will be reverse biased. Considering both the diode to be ideal, diode D1 will be closed circuit and diode D2 will be open circuit. We can easily calculate VO by using Kirchhoff's voltage law, that is plus of VI minus of VO equals to 0. VO equals to VI. Direction of current here is very important. For negative half cycle, the polarity will change. Diode D1 will be reverse biased and diode D2 will be forward biased. Here also forward biased is in closed circuit, that is diode D2, and reverse biased in open circuit, that is diode D1. We will obtain output voltage VO using Kirchhoff's voltage law, that is plus of VI minus of VO equals to 0. VO equals to VI. In case of half-wave rectifier, we had output voltage equal to 0 for the negative half cycle, and in case of full-wave rectifier, we have output voltage equals to Vi, that is the input voltage. So till here we studied about full-wave rectifier. There are two types of full wave rectifier. First is full wave bridge rectifier and second one is full wave center tap rectifier. There are two types, but the main work of these both types of rectifier are to convert AC signal into DC. So in full wave bridge rectifier there are four diodes used, connected in a bridge manner where AC is converted into DC, and in full wave center tap rectifier there is a tapping done on the center of the transformer and AC signal is converted into DC. Average load voltage and average load current. Average load voltage is also called DC load voltage, and we will use the output waveform of center tap rectifier to obtain average load voltage. In case of full wave bridge rectifier and full wave center tap rectifier, we have the same waveform for the output voltage. So average load voltage and average load current for bridge rectifier and center tap rectifier are same because they have the same output waveform. In order to obtain average load voltage, we will integrate the waveform from 0 to pi, where the output voltage V0 equals to Vm sin omega t, and we get the average voltage VAV equals to 2 Vm by pi. To calculate average load current, IAV equals to average of voltage divided by R, where average of current is equal to twice of Im by pi, and in case of half wave rectifier, VAV equals to Vm by pi and IAV equals to Im by pi. In full wave rectifier, the average load current and average load voltage is twice that of half wave rectifier, so using full wave rectifier is more efficient. Efficiency and peak inverse voltage. Efficiency percentage equals to output DC power divided by input DC power, and power here equals to I square by R, where I is current and R is the resistance, which is equal to 81.13%. That is the efficiency. And in case of half wave rectifier, the efficiency was 40.56%. So by using full wave rectifier, we can get the double value of half wave rectifier, which is more efficient. Now we will calculate peak inverse voltage. We have two circuits for full wave rectification. Number one is full wave bridge rectifier and number two is full wave center tap rectifier. The peak inverse voltage is different for these two circuits. So first we will calculate peak inverse voltage for full wave bridge rectifier. I will calculate the peak inverse voltage for diode D2, and we have to reverse bias peak inverse voltage. Peak inverse voltage is the maximum value of reverse bias voltage that we can apply across the diode before entering the Zener or breakdown region, and we have to work with maximum input voltage Vm. Diode D1 and D3 will be forward biased considering the diodes to be ideal. The resistances are: first we will find out the output voltage V0 or VO. where VO equals to plus of VM minus of VO equals to 0, and here output voltage is equals to VM, or the maximum or peak voltage. VM is the voltage across the resistance. So now I will use Kirchhoff's voltage law to obtain peak inverse voltage, where minus of VO and plus of PIV, that is peak inverse voltage, is equal to 0. That is peak inverse voltage is equals to VM, or the maximum value of the reversed voltage. And we know that peak inverse voltage will either be greater or equal to the maximum voltage. Now we will move to center tap circuit. The diodes D1 and D2 will have the same peak inverse voltage, and I will calculate the peak inverse voltage for diode D1, and we have to reverse bias it. Considering the diodes to be idle, I will use Kirchhoff's voltage law to obtain the output voltage VO, that is plus of VM minus of VO equals to 0, where VO equals to VM. And now I will again use Kirchhoff's voltage law to obtain peak inverse voltage for diode D1, that is equal to plus of VO minus of PIV, that is peak inverse voltage, plus of VM equals to 0. PIV equals to twice VM because VO is also equal to VM, and we know that peak inverse voltage must be either equal to or greater than twice of VM. Merits and demerits of full wave rectifier over half wave rectifier. Merits. Let's talk about the advantages of full wave bridge rectifier over half wave version. First, I can think about 4 specific merits at this point. Number 1, efficiency is double for full wave bridge rectifier. The reason is that a half wave rectifier makes use of only half of the input signal. A bridge rectifier makes use of both half and hence doubles efficiency. Number 2, the residual AP ripples before filtering is very low in the output of a bridge rectifier. The same ripple percentage is very high in half wave rectifier. A simple filter is enough to get a constant DC voltage from the bridge rectifier. Number 3, we know that efficiency of full wave bridge rectifier is double than half wave rectifier. This means higher output voltage, higher transformer utilization factor, and higher output power. Demerits: full wave rectifier needs more circuit elements and is costlier. And now we will move on to merits and demerits of bridge rectifier over center tap rectifier. A center tap rectifier is always a difficult one to implement because of the special transformer involved. A center tap transformer is costly as well. One key difference between center tap and bridge rectifier is in the number of diodes involved in construction. A center tap full wave rectifier needs only 2 diodes, whereas a bridge rectifier needs 4 diodes. But silicon diodes being cheaper than a center tap transformer, a bridge rectifier is much more preferred solution in DC power supply. Following are the advantages of bridge rectifier over center tap rectifier. That is, number 1, a bridge rectifier can be constructed with or without a transformer. If a transformer is involved, an ordinary step down or step up transformer will do the job. This luxury is not available in center tap rectifier. Here the design of rectifier is dependent on the center tap transformer, which cannot be replaced. Another point, bridge rectifier is suited for high voltage application. The reason is high peak inverse voltage of bridge rectifier when compared to peak inverse voltage of center tap rectifier. And third point, transformer utilization factor is higher for bridge rectifier. And now we will move on to demerits of bridge rectifier over center tap rectifier. The significant disadvantage of a bridge rectifier over center tap is the involvement of four diodes in the construction of bridge rectifier. In a bridge rectifier, two diodes conduct simultaneously on a half cycle of input. A center tap rectifier has only one diode conducting on one half cycle. This increases the net voltage drop across the diodes in bridge rectifier. It is double to the value of the center tap. Now we will move on to the application of full wave bridge rectifier. Full wave rectifier finds use in the construction of constant DC voltage power supplies, especially in general power supplies. A bridge rectifier with an efficient filter is ideal for any type of general power supply applications like charging a battery, powering a DC device like motor, LED, etc. However, for an audio application, a general power supply may not be enough. This is because of residual ripple factor in a bridge rectifier. There are limitations to filtering ripples for audio applications. Specially built power supplies using IC regulators may be ideal. And now we will move on to full wave bridge rectifier with capacitor filters. The output voltage for full wave rectifier is not constant, it's always pulsating, but this cannot be used in real life applications. In other words, we desire a DC power supply with a constant output voltage. In order to achieve a smooth and constant voltage, a filter with capacitor or an inductor is used. And here I would like to end my explanation on the topic full wave rectifier, and thank you so much for watching this video.